I'll stand for something. Oh, maybe I'll die for nothing.
Hey guys, it's Chauncey from Good Music to Know, and today we have soulful R&B artist Jahiem Mendoza joining us from the US. Super excited. Just to get started, so I was listening to Lost in Translation, and I was wondering after I listened to Perfect and Blondie, are these songs about your real feelings or something that's happened in your life, or is this more general themes around relationships and the ebbs and flows of relationships?
It's more so it happened to me and I've seen it happen. A lot of the art that I do make, I like for it to be organic and like something that I've either experienced or witnessed myself. I don't like making up stories too much. How do I put this? I'm not going to expect you to feel something that I don't genuinely feel, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not about fabricating anything. It has to be organic and from within me for me to even feel comfortable even sharing it, you know? It's all
yeah,
about the expression. Now, with Perfect, that didn't happen to me. I'm more so like one of my closest friends, right? I kind of witnessed the whole thing. Not the whole thing play out, but enough of it to where I kind of got a good synopsis.
yeah.
And then like, friends share. So he would tell me stuff. So one day when he came over, I was kind of like writing a chord progression on my guitar. And I was like, for fun, I was kind of like singing about his relationship for fun. And then he was like, yo, that's actually pretty sick. Should I finish it? He was like, yeah. So then as the time went on, I started working on it, went through a lot of different versions of it. And then we finally got that. But Blondie was mainly about me.
Where does the name for that song come from, Blondie?
Okay, so there was this chick I was dating, right? And she had some blonde tips. And when we were living together, this is kind of dumb, but when we were living together, every time we would kind of like get into a little argument or something, I would always go to the corner store, gas station, buy her like some little candy and treats and stuff to kind of like patch it up.
Yeah,
And I'll always get a blondie for myself. So when
nice.
I was writing that song, that little segment, it always lived with me because every time I see a blondie, I think about it, you know?
Yeah, very nice. And so the title in itself, Lost in Translation, is that just lost in translation in regards to how easily things can get lost in translation when it comes to relationships or when it comes to matters of the heart?
Yes, it could get blurred very easily and very fast, you know? Emotions aren't always tangible or hard to grasp or, even understand in the present moment. So even if you're trying to explain what you're going through to somebody else, sometimes they can't even understand or even be empathetic towards what you have going on. So it can get very blurry very fast. That's kind of why I wrote Blondie the way it did.
Yeah,
I kind of wrote it a little cryptic and not specific, but Perfect is pretty specific. So you see how like it isn't always consistent in the clarity. Because when I wrote Perfect, I wrote it through the perspective of my friend.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
when I wrote Blondie, I wrote through the perspective of me and the way I would express my emotions versus the way he would perceive and express his. And then I tried to capture those things.
Oh, that's really
Hence
cool.
it being lost in translation.
Nice. So, can we maybe expect to see Lost in Translation and then Melodrama on like an upcoming album?
I'm not a fan of like recycling songs, or putting the songs I've already released on an album. I think that's something more like mainstream artists do, or like
Yeah.
more popular artists do to like maintain attention. But I don't really care about attention. It's more so the substance of the art. And if I release it as a single, it's meant to be a single. If I release it as a EP is meant to be that way. All the art I put out is kind of like collective and respective to itself for that moment, you know?
Yeah.
I was thinking about extending the Lost in Translation EP before I put it out, but the way it came together, as I see it, that's how it's meant to be, you know? So, like, recycling it for a later concept of thought on the album just wouldn't work.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Maybe you could briefly walk us through how your music journey began and when did you know that this was something that you really wanted to seriously pursue?
Okay, this is a lovely question. So, when I was in fifth grade, right, I remember this is kind of like it's kind of like a butterfly effect. But I remember I was in class and this lady who was my orchestra teacher for like 8 years after that, she came in with a violin and she was trying to recruit kids to come play violin, for the school and stuff, like play in the orchestra.
Yep.
And she was like playing like just cute stuff to get the kids' attention, like Star Wars and Jaws and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So then I got in the orchestra and I started playing violin for about a good of 8 to 12 years. And, I had a big passion for it. But that stuff, like classical music, started exposing me to other music, because I had friends in orchestra who was also in band or like they played in their own band outside of school. So like the more I intermingled with them, I started like, getting exposed to different genres and styles of music,
Yeah.
which eventually led to me picking up guitar and, playing piano and stuff and just kind of branching out to my own thing. Because, first of all, it starts from just being a fan of music. So
Exactly.
the bigger music got in my head, the more I was like, let me try it. Because I'm the type to where it's like, if I like it, I'm gonna try it. I'm
Yep.
not gonna just say, oh, that's not for me. I'm gonna definitely try and see what I could do out of it. So I started writing songs, and I used to rap. Like that used to be my thing. I used to rap at first, so I would, like make songs, share with my friends and stuff and all that. But then it got to a point to where I realized I was only rapping because of my friend group. So I started like just being more real with myself. And
Yeah.
that's why I like making the stuff that I really want to make through being exposed to all those different genres and stuff growing up. And then it just kind of led here.
Very nice. I also played in the orchestra growing up, so
Oh,
I
sweet.
I can agree with you when you say it definitely opens your eyes to a wide variety of different types of music.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so were there any music art inspirations that you drew from when you were doing Lost in Translation or any of your other singles?
Oh, yeah, this is an awesome question, too. Let's see. In Lost in Translation, it's kind of hard to say who I was listening to the most. Because when I started writing songs, I tried not to listen to my influences too much. I don't want them to have too much of an impact on what I make or like how I choose to select it. But I was listening to a lot of Dijon, a lot of McGee, a lot of Daniel Caesar, and a lot of Frank Ocean, but not like Blonde or anything. Lately, I've been really obsessed with Cayendo
Yeah.
and just that softness and the integrity in his words, and not necessarily the wordplay, just how he chose to write it. It was very simplistically complex, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
On a
you
surface level, it seems very simple, very easy to say, but when you really look at like what he's saying and how he's saying it, it kind of hits kind of deep, and that's what I was trying to implicate was the simplicity, but a bit of kind of put complex emotions simply.
yeah, that makes sense. The next question was going to be any dream collabs. It's probably the people that you just named.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of collaborating.
Oh, okay.
I like to, because everything I make is produced by me, except for Blondie, that was produced by somebody I just became a mutual with.
Yeah.
But more or less, everything is produced by me and made by me because I won't lie to you, man. I can get kind of selfish when it comes to music
Yeah.
and I can get kind of territorial a bit. I would be open to it, but it isn't something that like I'm just dying to do because I think everything that I can express, it can be done by me. And I like to record at home in my studio. It's just the most comfortable place for me where I could be open and honest and I could experiment without judgment or anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, what do you hope your listeners take away from your music ultimately?
Oh, this is another great question. You got some really good questions.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I hope that the main thing is just being honest with yourself. Like that has been my whole journey when it comes to music, just being honest, honest, honest. Because when I used to rap and stuff back in high school, it's like that was the complete opposite. I just want to like just tell stories and lie, and it just never felt right, you
Yeah.
know? But with this current era of my music, it is all about honesty. I'm not gonna put something in a song I didn't truly see or truly go through or truly feel. It has to all be real, for me. Because a lot of my favorite songs, even though they may not be real, I like to imagine them as real.
Yeah.
That's a bit of delusion going on there. But for me, anyway, it needs to be real because I need to feel it. If that makes
Exactly.
sense.
No, it's true. It's how we connect with music as well. I 100% agree. One of the final questions I had for you is there a final message that you want to leave your listeners or your fans?
Yeah, it's all in the music. It will always be in the music. I think that every question you have for an artist or for yourself or within anything, you could always find it in the art or the substance that they produce. Like, for example, a lot of people like to ask questions like, what were you going through whenever you made this song? I think you could hear it if you choose to listen enough.
Yep.
Everything that you wish to know, you wish to feel, you wish to see. It is all in the art, even in what you're going through. Because a lot of times when I go through things, I could always find it in the art that I love. You know, I could always find the answers in it within the songs that I love. You know,
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
so just everything, all the messages, all the answers, it'll always be in my art.
When I look into your eyes, I see nobody but me. Is it 'cause he don't suffice that you still